Okay, off the Acadian Dike, the only thing left is a little strip there and the turning of the river back there where the two boats are. Without the Acadian Dike, this will be underwater. So that's what remains at this very high tide. And long time ago, well, even at high tide like this, that strip of land back there, that strip of dike, would have been all around this and visible and with many posts. Now, there's no more posts left, but today is the sea. This is the French road, and it's interrupted here and here where the Grand Aboiteau was. In this section right here, there is wood crib work and stone, a lot of stone here, and a few more in the water. And same thing on the other side. There's a line, two line of stone on the other side. And I couldn't find any post in the middle. Dans les grandes marées basses, on peut voir les vestiges d'un aboiteau ici. On va marcher. Je pense pas être capable d'aller de l'autre côté. Vous voyez tous les cailloux. Coin, 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 coin. Des grosses pièces de bois. Grandes roches, plates. Wow, I made it! C'est la route construite en 1751 à 1755. Wow. Ça devrait être bien documenté par les parties. L'érosion expose ces travaux-là. Des grands travaux. Les coups de hache donnés en 1751 à 1750. C'est fabuleux. Ok, je vais grimper un petit peu. Ça, c'est les travaux pour la route pour joindre rapidement les deux forts français de l'époque, fort Gaspereau et fort Beau Séjour. Les marées très basses comme ça, c'est rare pendant le jour. Là, je suis capable de vous montrer l'étendue de ce retrait d'eau-là. Marée emporte et la marée ramène. Ah, je m'attendais pas à ça. C'est pas une bouteille de vin française. C'est un Coca-Cola. Quelques années passées. J'ai l'œil ouvert, je cherche. Je cherche pas des traces, des morceaux de bois, des outils anciens. Je regarde partout, je regarde, je cherche. Les gens étaient ici. Je vais continuer à marcher sur les travaux de vos ancêtres. Faut célébrer ça. C'est pesant les cailloux comme ça, là.
Aha! This was 2 years ago, and I was looking at that video, and I see those two pieces of wood there. So today, on my way back, I decided to stop there, and bingo! I don't know how I missed it, but this is an Aboiteau. And this was a very, very low tide, and those are rare. So, but I found it again.
Continue. La marée baisse encore. J'ai des grandes bottes. C'est plus solide où la mer passe. Le petit sable qu'il y a là, ça le rend plus solide. Mais chaque côté, là, c'est de la boue. La boue épaisse.
So what I just did now was crossing twice, following the French causeway, a military road. And in this location, there was a grand Aboiteau, a big Aboiteau, and I found a smaller one too. So 2 years passed by, and I started to take advantage of those low tide in my exploration. I was shy to do it in the beginning because the mud, but now I'm okay. I got tricks and all that, and this is where you see the history way better. I think I just discovered an Acadian treasure. Yeah. Okay, I passed by in the morning and I saw the outline, but it was time to go because I was getting aground. And I came back later as the tide is rising and I see the outline and I cleaned it a little bit, touch it. I took a lot of measurement. Sorry for the mud fog. and it's perfectly preserved, not cracked, not complete except for the roof. And I'm sure if I look around, because when wood get waterlogged, it doesn't go too far unless the eyes grab it. So I'm gonna look around, feel the ground if I can see one piece of the cover, and well, never know, maybe the door. That'd be far-fetched, but I'm gonna try. But I have to wait for a very low tide to be able to approach it and work much more easier than I did there. So here's the measurement, and here's the plan I made. There might be a few mistakes because it was hard to take the measurement underwater, but that's what it basically looked like. 15 feet long. But I want to know more, so I went back the day after at a very low tide and a very strong wind, so it got very low and I was able to take the final measurement. And sorry for the soundtrack, it's windy.
Okay, I'm back today, but I walk from Baie-Verte to here. A part of the Aboiteau is visible and above water slightly. It was either for this exit right here, or it was not too far from here. Do the research and the recording that I needed to come the drawing. Almost the way, if this is the bottom, this is almost the way they cut the tree. They cut the tree like this, and they shape it until they get the point. And you see, this is a bit rounded. This is more parallel. Okay, let's see for the dowels now. Okay. Whoops. I see one dowel here. And one dowel here. It's very muddy. No dowel after that. So I'm gonna wait until it clear up here and take a picture. Okay, the current almost stopped, so we must be very close to the tide reverse. So the only damage I see is the worm here, the wood worm and that section here. The rest is very good. And the step here, are very close to 1 inch. I would say 1 inch. And if I put my hand in the bottom, it's very just like half an inch. This bottom groove, it's only half an inch compared to the 1 inch here. And doesn't matter how much I do that, because the current is not strong enough to evacuate what I'm doing there. Okay. There's no trace of a dowel, so the dowel was in bed in piece of wood that was above it. And how was it hold in place? Because I see no dowel after. And my idea, it was hold in place by a large rock, because this might have to be cleaned very often. So just take the rock off and access to your door, flap it, clean it, and put it back in place. It's not a big job because it's a small, very small Aboiteau. So rocks there, no rocks over there, and no rocks in proximity here. The next rocks all back there. So I think those rocks were put on purpose to align this and keep it there until the filling is done, or something like that. Also search underneath if I can feel some branches, and there's nothing. Okay, so it's very cloudy water now. I'm just check something, and that would be a big cloud right now. Can't help it because it's very. I want to check if there's a trace of dowel or possible dowel someplace. Here, what's this here? It's a little square hole. It's like a square hole. I think it just cracks. Is that the dowel right here? No. So, no dowel. No hole for dowel. So, unless this is a nail hole, I don't think so. No hole for dowel. So basically, I think this door was held in place by the two upright, sandwich the clapper with the platform, the roof on top, and then a large rock. And this way, you can just take the large rock off, access your clapper, and put it back in place, and you're good for a few tides until you notice something. Because there's a lot of debris coming out here. So if it was dowel, and the other possibility is the piece that goes on top here had a little edge, so it fits like a box. So it's like a box, like this shape. And it's click in, and you just put rock, so it doesn't move sideways, it doesn't go nowhere. That's the way I will build it, because definitely there's no dowel there. Okay, this is the edge are cut like the tree was cut down from the ground. They are taper, and as you carve in, you reach a taper. That's it. It's pretty even work. 6 inches here, 6 inches in the middle, 5.5 inches at the other end. Oh, this is the nicest picture so far. So I'm done with this. I'm going to refill this back with whatever mud I removed from inside, just to make sure that the sun or whatever does anything to it for a while. Okay, and my friend the crabs won't be too happy. Oh man, it's hard to move. Yeah. Okay, more solid here, but not there. Not there at all. So that's it. I'm gonna try to cross here and access the other one before the sun. It's an hour and a half left. Okay. Look at that, all the sediment. Let's fill the hole, or this. My, push. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Okay, it's all buried back again, just the way it was, and the tide is running fast. Okay, I went back and I had to redraw some detail on the first draft. And one was really buzzing me is this shape at the end of the log at both ends. And I thought was to fit another one with attached or some kind of joint or something, but it was not broken. It was perfectly clean cut. So why was this pattern like this? And I think I saw the problem. When you bring a piece from a sawmill, this is not the case, your ends are cut butt and square. But when you fall a tree in the forest, you have this shape. And if your tree is too long, you cut the end this way. So you don't use a box saw, you just make it shorter by chopping at it. Now you have your piece. So when you take the cap off here, at each end, you're not correcting this, you're going to take with your adze the wood needed, and at the end you're going to end up with the pattern of the cut, what's left of it. And that explains those odd shapes that I couldn't take a real measurement of it because it was too complex. But basically this groove with the adze was done in a tree that was finishing pointy both ends. Okay, second thing, the tree, the groove is not perfectly square. There's a curve at one end. For the door, I check and I see 1 inches and ½ inches in the bottom for the stop for the door, and a few ½ inches here and there. Now the dowel, those were the only dowel I seen. And I saw some kind of a little square thing here, but I think it was just like a little crack in the wood that almost looked like square, but when I touch it, it felt just like it's not a dowel. Okay, so why is only 2 dowel nose thing? Well, this piece is built from 1 log, so it's strong on its own. It's solid. It's not going. This now won't be bending down because the dowel or the nail give up. This is a solid piece. It all together. Second thing, this section is under the dike. So you just need to put 1 piece of cover, at least 1 section of cover, to prevent some kind of pressure against. And just put, in that case, 1 piece here, maybe a board the same width in that direction for about here. And after that, they've put other boards that can be removed easily to clean up. So those other boards are buried under the hill, yes, and with rocks and branches on top. But when you come to clean up, and if you have dowels everywhere, well, are you going to clean up? It will be very labor intensive. And this is a small piece. It's only 15 feet long. We're not talking about big Aboiteau. So solution, this was because the tree was pointy at the beginning of construction, that gave those odd shape at the end. Okay, and the only 2 dowel hole I found, and a few correction from the second trip. Okay, now I was mentioning all the time about a big Aboiteau there. A big Aboiteau means a big door. This is a small door. This door I found it like 8, it would be 8.5 inches wide. So that's not a big door, it's a small thing. You know, it's a small door. Okay. Now, if you have a big door, and I've seen picture of a big Aboiteau, but I don't know how they are hinged inside. And the only piece of metal, I found two pins in this on the side. Not too far from that, so it's not related. And I think that this went to the edge of one big plank and was acting as an hinge. Now, they might say, oh, maybe it was a sled, but maybe it was an hinge. Okay, something like that. Okay, so this piece came from that side, and two about 8 inches rods that were crisscross stuck in a piece of wood that was all rotten. So the rod with crisscross like this. I still have those rods, and this is the metal I found on that side. I think that means they rely a lot on dowels and pins and natural stuff, and not too much on metal because metal rust and hard to replace. But dowels, easy to replace. Okay, so this is my final plan. I think I did what needs to be done to be convinced that, yeah, that's the way they were built. At least this one. Now, in the region, I found two of one plank and one carved. Both are 15 feet length. And I found two big ones that are longer and bigger too. Okay. So the final thing I had is about the door. So I could not see any activity of a pin rubbing against that edge there. So that's telling me that this is wrong, and most likely this Aboiteau and the door inside, okay, it was suspended into two spacer, and the pin was inside the spacer like this here. Okay, now how do you hold this in place, because there is no dowels again? Well, those could be in with a cap on it and a cap on the side, and bingo, you have now this piece more or less the same as the other drawing. Okay, sorry for that. So modification, okay, and dowels here and dowels here. So this piece here contained the door and simply fit like a cap. You put the door inside and you just push down like a cap, and then on top you put a big rock. So when you want to clean that, it's so easy. Take the rock off, take the cap off, clean your clapet, put it back in place, and then put the rock back in place. Now, as for the pressure in the lineup, they could be, I didn't check the side, they could be one side pin, just to make sure that this box doesn't move forth and back. They could be something like that. Okay, so this is where I'm at this game now.
And I realized one thing when I came back home. My measurement tape is in the water beside, in the mud.